The moment the repair woman's fingers touched the necklace resting on my collarbone, she pulled her hand back like she'd been burned. "Take that off," she breathed, "right now." Her eyes weren't just alarmed, they looked like someone grieving. The bus engine rumbled around us, but her voice cut straight through everything. "I can see what's in there." My hand stopped in midair. I couldn't breathe for a full second. This necklace, the one I had never once removed, the one my husband clasped around my neck on our 3rd wedding anniversary. My name is Serena, and for the past 4 months, I had been waking up with splitting headaches, a racing heart, and a feeling so wrong it lived in my bones. Doctors ran every test they had. Nothing. My husband Daniel told me I needed to rest more. His mother told me I was looking for problems that didn't exist. Only I knew the truth. Something was very wrong. "My husband gave this to me," I whispered. People nearby were already staring. Why would there be anything inside it? The repair woman stepped closer, voice dropping so low it shook. "Serena, that isn't a necklace. It's a device." My heart slammed against my ribs. A device for what? Her answer was almost swallowed by the sound of the bus brakes. "Open it." As the doors hissed apart, I glanced toward the back of the bus and saw someone I recognized, a man named Cole. He worked with Daniel. Quiet, forgettable, the kind of person who never looked you in the eye at company events. But right now, he was staring directly at my necklace. The moment our eyes connected, he turned away and sank into the crowd like he'd never been there at all. Ice moved up my spine. The repair woman tugged my sleeve. "Serena, please, if you won't open it here, come to my shop. You are in danger." Danger. That word sat on my chest the entire ride home. 4 months of falling apart. The headaches, the dizzy spells, the permanent feeling that someone was always just behind me, even in an empty room. Daniel kept telling me it was anxiety. But then why did he always make sure the necklace was on before I left the house? Why did he say removing it might scratch the delicate mechanism inside? And why did it buzz faintly sometimes when I stood near my laptop? I didn't say a word to Daniel that evening. Not when he texted, "Running late, don't hold dinner." Not when I lay awake in the dark, pressing my fingers against the cool. But when I arrived the next morning, yellow police tape blocked the entire entrance. Officers were everywhere, and the repair woman was gone. "Ma'am, this area is closed." An officer stepped in front of me. There was an incident. My stomach dropped. What kind of incident? He took just long enough to answer. "A break-in, possible assault. The owner hasn't been located." Hasn't been located. Vanished. Right after she told me I was in danger. I stepped back. My pulse was loud in my ears. Someone hadn't just silenced her. They'd erased her. I gripped the necklace until the metal dug into my palm. And then I felt it. A faint pulse. Almost like a second heartbeat that wasn't mine. I walked home faster than I ever had. When I pushed through the front door, Daniel was already sitting at the kitchen island, phone in hand, completely calm, as if he hadn't been distant for weeks. "You're home early," he said without looking up. Something cold moved through me. "That repair shop I went to," I said carefully, watching him. "Something happened to her." He paused, a beat too long. Then he smiled, slow, practiced. "What kind of something?" "She's missing." His jaw tightened just barely, just enough. "Serena," he said gently, "you really need to stop letting strangers get in your head." Strangers. But he knew exactly who I meant. That night, after Daniel fell asleep, I heard something new. A quiet, rhythmic clicking coming from the necklace. The more I focused on it, the clearer it became. Not random, not mechanical, intentional. I went to the bathroom, turned on every light, and held the pendant up close to the mirror. And there, deep inside the metal, something flickered. A tiny red light, barely visible but unmistakable. A recording indicator. My whole body went cold. I stumbled backward into the counter. Something crashed, loudly. "Serena?" Daniel's voice came from the bedroom. "What are you doing in there?" I killed the light and pressed my back against the wall, pretending I'd just knocked something over. I locked myself in the guest room, slid down to the floor, and let myself come apart. The tears came hard, not just from fear, from the specific humiliation of realizing the person who was supposed to love me had turned me into a target. But after a few minutes, something shifted inside me. The grief hardened, became something else entirely, something useful. If Daniel wanted to watch me, I would give him something to watch. I wiped my face, stood up, and looked at myself in the small mirror above the dresser. "Serena," I said quietly, "you are done being his experiment." I spent the rest of the night on the burner phone, reading everything I could find about micro-surveillance equipment and signal routing. If the pendant was transmitting data, there was a receiver, which meant Daniel wasn't doing this alone. A new message appeared just before dawn. "Meet me at 10 a.m. I know exactly what's inside that necklace and who designed it." The address was an apartment building. His shoulders dropped with relief. Good. Let him believe every word. Across town, Cole sent a single text. He's watching the loop now. I moved through the house softly, cooking, humming, completely at peace. The version of me Daniel always said he wanted. But Daniel kept drifting to the window, checking his phone. Something in the performance wasn't adding up for him. Then his phone buzzed and he went very still. I saw just enough of the screen before he turned it over. "Signal duplication detected. Your feed has been mirrored." His breathing changed. "Serena," his voice was careful. "Where did you go today?" I tilted my head. "Why? Did the necklace not tell you?" The mask dropped completely. He moved toward me fast, reaching for the pendant. I stepped back. "Careful," I said quietly. "You wouldn't want to damage your own equipment." "You weren't supposed to find out," he said. Something desperate had crept into his voice. "I did more than find out," I told him. "I traced every file, every recording, every camera, and every GPS ping, going back 4 months." Real fear crossed his face for the first time. "And Daniel, your company's board of directors has all of it too." Because Cole hadn't just mirrored the signal, he had forwarded the entire archive to HR, legal compliance, and the federal inbox connected to Daniel's division. 3 knocks at the door, then it opened. 2 agents stepped inside. "Daniel Morrow, we have a warrant." He turned to me. His face was something between fury and disbelief. "You destroyed everything." I held his gaze without blinking. "You destroyed me first. I just rebuilt myself." They walked him out. The front door closed, and for the first time in 4 months, the room felt like mine again. I reached back, unclasped the necklace, and held it in my palm for one long moment. Then I dropped it into a glass of